today, I'm like,
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, so excited to be back. Ladies.
hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Welcome back to Florida.
Yep.
I'm happy to be back. Welcome y'all to another episode of Tampa Talk Live. We are excited to be with you this evening. Got some cool things on deck. We're going to talk some beaches, of course, because those we love to talk about. We're going to talk about jobs in Tampa tonight. We are going to talk about some things popping off in St. Pete. We're going to talk about strawberries. Strawberries, y'all. It's important. Trust me, you're not going to want to miss that. That I am joined this evening by my lovely and talented co-host. We got Miss Marsha Railton.
Hello.
Marsha, good evening. We also have Miss Stacy Amon. Good evening, Stacy.
Good evening, everyone.
Awesome, y'all. And we would love to know where you are watching from. So do us a favor, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or whatever channel you're watching on, please leave us a comment. Let us know where you're watching from. If you have any questions tonight, do not hesitate to put those in the chats. We love sharing those with our audience here. And if you've got the question, they probably do too. So it's a great way to help. Okay. Not only yourself, but help the audience as well. So we encourage you to do that. And if we've never met before, my name is Juan Alcala. I'm a licensed real estate agent and a team leader here with the True Living Group. And myself, along with Marsha and Stacy, we help people just like you buy, sell, relocate, and invest here in the Tampa Bay and Sarasota areas. If you need to get hold of us, all of our contact information is listed down below in the description. Be more than happy to have a conversation. There's even a link to my calendar so you can schedule the time that's most convenient for you. So now you've got the pleasantries out of the way. Let's get into what's been popping off here. And y'all, forgive me for those of you who were waiting to see last week's episode. I was on vacation, and the lovely ladies here were working with all of you hard clients who reach out to us about relocating. Number one, and number two, Marsha has no interest in messing around with this technology. She made it very, she made it very clear. So, and that's okay, because it is a little bit stressful from time to time. Things can go wrong. It's just part of the process, but we appreciate you, ladies. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. We were in Michigan. For those of you that don't know, I moved to the Tampa area almost 5 years ago now, from Southeast Michigan, the Detroit area. And we went back home, and it was a great time. My wife got to fill her tank up with all the family relationship juju that you could ever get. We had a barbecue every day, and I gained 6 pounds. So congratulate me on that. It's just crazy, y'all. I walked an average of six miles a day, and I still gained 6 pounds. So it just goes to tell you that I'm fluffy. So anyone watching wants to know. And also I like to eat. I ate everything. So they treated us well up there. We can't complain. There was a 63-degree morning. I mean, that I don't even know what that is anymore. For those of you watching anywhere else in the country other than Florida, we are in the hot season. There's no swing between temperatures. It only goes between hot and super hot right now. And there's some sprinkle of rain in the day in between. But it was like an incredible morning. 63 degrees. I went and got coffee at like 6 o'clock in the morning. What was weird is I forgot how long it stays daylight up there. Yeah. And it wasn't getting dark until like 9:30, 9:40. It was crazy. And if you're watching from anywhere else, we usually are sunset by about 8:30. right? So it was definitely interesting in that respect. There was yeah, exactly. But we did have some challenges up there too. The first 2 or 3 days, we had really bad smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Like you could taste it, right? You could taste it. So it was very interesting how that went along. But we're going to get into some of these topics. I know y'all are like, what? Great, Juan. Thanks for your vacation recap. But I just wanted to bring that up, right? Like I moved from Michigan for a reason, y'all. Like we wanted to see sun. And I will say this, like it rained the first couple days and we had that smoke stuff on top of it. And then it was a sunny day, but you could tell it was hazy because of the Canadian wildfire. It was very interesting. But ultimately we had pretty good weather. But it hasn't gotten real warm up there. And I share that with the audience here because, being from up north, you only had about 18 weeks of summer anyways. Right. And when it gets started late or it's interfered with, man, it can become really difficult. Now, here's a really big benefit of Florida. I don't know if you know this or not, ladies. Maybe you can help them understand as well. We get a lot of sun here, don't we?
Every day,
Yes.
pretty much.
Every day. So we are definitely spoiled in that respect. But we're going to get into some topics tonight. Let's see who's watching. Who do we got here? We got New Life Poetry, Innovating Change Around the World. That is one heck of a YouTube handle, my man. I appreciate that. And they are watching from Ohio, so that's great. Ronnie, happy Tuesday. Ronnie's giving a shout out to the ladies as well.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie.
Ronnie said 63 degrees, maybe in December. Yeah, exactly. We hit that. January, we definitely hit some lowers. Low temperatures below that. And Kevin says, good evening from Lakeland. What's up, Kevin? Good evening. Okay, cool. Well, let's get into some of these cool topics that are happening around town. We drove, which is crazy. We drove from Tampa to Detroit. And for anybody wondering, it's 1,200 miles. We made an additional roughly 100-mile jaunt to the East Coast. We went to Rodney Scott's Barbecue in South Carolina. We literally went to Charleston just to go to Rodney Scott's. I'm saying that out loud on purpose. We went 100 miles out of the way to go to barbecue because it's great barbecue. And I would encourage you, if you ever go there, you want to. I know this is going to sound sacrilegious, but you gotta walk with me here. Make sure you get the turkey. And you get the white sauce. It will change your life. And then from there, we went from Charleston, South Carolina to Asheville, North Carolina, where we spent the evening. And then the next morning, we had biscuit head for breakfast. I'll show y'all some videos another time so you can see it. It was unbelievable. I mean, I talk about it's an incredible breakfast. And then from there, we drove up north. So, a little bit of a ways away, right? Like in terms of drive time and getting things done. But it was a great trip. We drove through the Georgia mountains and I'm bringing up the road trip component of it because one of the things you get to see when you're driving across the country is what cities are really growing, right? Like what is happening around. And, when we got to Southeast Detroit, there was nothing but construction, which is completely normal for this time of year. But on the way up, the biggest boom that we saw was in Atlanta, and Atlanta had sticks in the air all over the place. And what I mean by that is cranes, right? Those big, huge construction cranes you see in the city that are like usually building some kind of new apartment building or condo high rise, or, could be commercial real estate as well. And Atlanta was booming. You know what I mean? It was just absolutely cranking down. And when I look around our city, you look at downtown Tampa or you look at downtown St. Pete, and there are sticks in the air everywhere where these buildings are going up all over the place. So I share that with y'all because, there's a lot going on in our economy right now. It's a very interesting time. We'll get into some numbers here at some point tonight, but like what I want to share is some of the stuff that is exciting that's happening around town. Because again, I can go to the Tampa Bay Business Journal and pull up, an article every single day, what it feels like anyways, of new construction or new apartments or condos going up. Right, ladies, and new developments all the time. Like Murata just got the largest man-made lagoon in the entire country or world just opened up in Murata. There's another one open up in Angeline here pretty soon. There's another one opening up in Bradenton. Like the metro company, the metro parks are doing an incredible job with these lagoons, and it's really starting to attract a lot of home buyers, and they're building some great developments out there. What I would consider some affordable housing. Well, it's relative, right? Of course. But in terms of new construction standards and, building anywhere from the low 300s all the way up to, over $1 million. And that gives you a lot of flexibility. So there's some really cool stuff happening in our marketplace, but, just taking note of what you see, right? Like it's anecdotal, but like you get to see things happening around the country when you drive. So I thought that was cool to kind of see what Atlanta was going through. Obviously that city is much larger than Tampa as a whole, but incredible to watch their growth and to see what's happening for us as well, and know that we're one of those areas that people just really enjoy coming to. And we're still, man, like, again, we talk about being a good value. We are actually, and I know people live here, like things are expensive. I get it. And I'm not discounting that. But when you travel and you really start to wrap your mind around other areas, like we're still very affordable. We talk about this all the time because people call us, they're like, hey, we'd love to go to Naples. And then we talk about what it costs to live in Naples. They're like, yeah, we're not going to Naples. Right. Or Miami. Like, and then there are people who can afford it. So it's just part of the process. Right. Would you say that that's fair, ladies?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's get into some local stuff. I mean, there's been so many new things opening up. But let's get into some local flair. We started with Marsha last time, I believe. So let's kick it off with Stacy and talk about what's going on. I know we've got some new developments, and then you've also got some hot topics you'd like to cover. So let's get into those.
Can you believe it's the end of July? I mean, I feel like a couple of weeks ago, we were just talking about what are we going to do with our kids this summer so they don't drive us crazy. And now sorry, my phone was just buzzing. Now it's like we're talking about back to school, because you walk into Walmart or Target and there's school supplies everywhere. So if you're new to Florida, or if you haven't already heard, we have a back to school tax-free holiday. It actually started yesterday and goes through August 6th. And it's a no sales tax for school supplies, clothing, footwear, even computers. Of course, there are some restrictions. So we have the link there where you can get the details of what the restrictions are. So like the computers, they can't be more than $1,500. You can also get some computer accessories with those. Shoes, of course, you can't go buy $2,000 pair of tennis shoes. Those are capped at $150, I think, or $100.
That's a good way to tell your kids you can't buy them the $1,000 pair.
Sorry, we gotta pay tax on those. We can't buy them.
I thought this was great. We did a short video on this about a month ago when they announced this, and I think it's awesome. Everybody's always looking for ways to make things work, right? And there's no perfect systems, y'all. Like it just doesn't work, and we discussed this before. We don't have a state income tax, so when you wrap your mind around that, getting another tax break that comes directly from the state's coffers, so to speak, right? So it's something to take note of. So I appreciate this. I think this is great, especially for families who may struggle with getting these supplies. I know our church does a incredible outreach where we fill backpacks and make sure that kids in the local area get their hands on them. But like this stuff matters, right? Like buying a new computer for some families, like they save their tail ends off, and then tax is another, $150 on top of it. So it can be very difficult. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, if you have more than one kid, just buying the school supplies, it adds up. Like I know I spent over hundreds of dollars on school supplies, so every little bit helps.
Yep. Ronnie, you are not a student.
Hey, I don't think it matters, actually. How do they tell?
Yeah. Again, they're trying to stimulate the economy a little bit too here. So I think this stuff is wonderful. This is great. So you can find this. We'll put the link in the description below, so you can go check this out. But it's the Department of Revenue. You can go right to their website and find all the details about the tax holidays they have going on. I think this is awesome.
Yep. In Pasco County and Hillsborough County, they go back to school on August 10th. That is right around the corner.
Yep.
So happy back to school shopping, everyone. So let's see what else is going on here. Oh, there's a new community opening up in Plant City. So if you don't know where Plant City is located, it's the northeast. It's in the northeast of Hillsborough County, and it's in between Brandon and Lakewood or Lakeland on I-4. And if you didn't know, Plant City is known as the winter strawberry capital of the world. Yeah.
Talking strawberries.
Yeah. And they host the famous Florida Strawberry Festival every year since 1930.
Wow.
And if you have not been there, you have got to go. I love strawberries just for the strawberry shortcake. I mean, it is fabulous. And you don't even have to go into the festival because there are tents lined up on the streets of people selling their strawberries, like a big crate for like $20. And they're fresh and sweet. They're wonderful strawberries. I love it.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a big to do, y'all. For those of you that don't know, the Strawberry Festival, I mean, we're talking a big deal. So they're already promoting next year, 2024. This year is already passed, of course, but it is a awesome experience to go out. There's usually concerts and all kinds of stuff going on out there. Like literally everything is happening on the Strawberry Fest, which is pretty cool. So
Yeah,
general admission, you can go right to the website, which is flstrawberryfestival.com. Again, we'll include this down below. What else is going on over there, Stacy?
Well, D.R. Horton's opening a new community over there. They're going to have 2,000 home sites, and they're going to have their Express series, which is their like starter series for first-time home buyers. And then they'll have the Preferred series, which is a little bit bigger home sites and some upgrades. They're going to have single-family homes, townhomes, and villas. The single family homes are going to start in the low 300s, and the townhomes and villas will start in the low 200s.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the things I want to take note of here really quick is I got a call last Friday from the sales agent in Lakewood Ranch for D.R. Horton at Solera. And they have some great options down there. And she called me. She's like, Juan, we got a really good deal on some of our really nice ranches. Some of the larger ranches, like 22 or 2,400 square feet. Great property. We actually just moved a client from Chicago down to one of those in Wesley Chapel. Marsha, what was the model there?
Lantana.
The Lantana, that's right. Beautiful property. Especially for the price point. We got a really good value up in Wesley Chapel, but the reason I'm bringing this up now is because the phone call I got was not only were the prices really, really nice compared to what the average price point in Lakewood Ranch was, but they were offering like a 5% interest rate.
Yes.
And like $20,000 in flex cash. So what clients are doing is either using that towards their down payment or their closing cost, or they're applying that directly to their interest rate buy down. So on top of getting a 5% interest rate, they were driving them down even further. So she reached out to me. She's like, hey, can you let your clients know this is what we got going on? So I think I wanted to bring that up to y'all because there's some really good opportunities with these new construction developments. Our builders have been very savvy here. They're not overbuilding. They are waiting till they find the clients and then breaking ground. But they also are aggressive. They're trying to get these properties moved. They're not discounting stuff, meaning that we're not seeing prices go down. We'll show you those here in a minute. The prices in Tampa continue to increase just about like everywhere else in the United States. But I think this is great. We start looking at some of these floor plans here. And the reason I want to bring this up is just to give perspective really quick. So here's their smaller 3-bedroom, 2-bath as an example out in this community that Stacy's referring to. And looks like they've got a $312 price tag on this. And this comes with everything. Something to take note of, ladies, that I don't think we've discussed on this channel before outside of our new construction video is that most of these developments come with everything. All right. And what I mean everything is it comes with the lawn, it comes with the landscaping, it comes with the concrete lanai already done. Like these things are done. And I know when we were selling real estate back up north, you had to buy a deck, you had to buy a lawn, you had to buy landscape, you had to buy the sprinkler system, you had to buy everything. So you'd move in and you still had another $30,000 or $50,000 bill waiting for you. And that stuff is included in most of these developments.
Yeah, D.R. Horton also includes all the blinds and most of the appliances.
Yep. So something to take note of. I would consider them entry level on, especially on the express products that we're talking about. But here's something to take note of them as a builder. And this isn't, again, you do your homework on new construction, but they're an all block construction on the first and second levels of their home, which is very rare. Right. The first level, it's not, but the second level, that's not common. There are a lot of builders who do stick built on the second story. Right, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a way to save costs, but they actually will do a 2-story block. So it's something to take note of if you're into a 2-story versus a ranch style home. But you can see some of these square footage issues here, the Cali, the Camden. The Camden is almost a 2,800 square foot single story. And then you've got the Coral. There's a bunch of other different property types out there. But I think this is great. What amenities are they going to have out there?
They're going to have a resort style pool, fitness center. They're going to have a half court basketball courts, playgrounds, and walking trails.
Nice.
10
minutes from I-4. That's nice.
Yep. And then their D.R. Horton is also opening another neighborhood in the Zephyr Hills, Wesley Chapel area called Two Rivers. They just started pre-selling for that neighborhood. It's located right off Highway 56 and Morris Bridge Road. Mm-hmm. And they will have the Express series there starting in the mid 300s. And something that I always get asked from when I'm showing homes is there's not a lot of gas communities here.
Nope.
And this community is going to be a gas community.
Whoa.
I know. It was like, what?
Yay.
I know. They're advertising that. So, it's a big deal.
Are they going to put pigs in each yard? And when I mean, I don't mean pigs that like bacon pigs, y'all. I mean, it's a gas pig for those of you that don't know. It's a giant propane tank, right? So like, do you know that, Stacey? Or are they having this going to be community fed?
It's going to be community fed, I assume. Yeah.
Okay. That's the reason we bring that up, y'all, is because it's not common, right? It's one of the things I miss. I tell you what, it's one of the things I miss. I cooked breakfast in Michigan on a gas stove and it was awesome. And I almost burned my eggs because it was entirely different. I'm out of practice, man. I'm out of practice.
Yeah.
I think gas is more common in Manatee and Sarasota.
Is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's maybe 2 or 3 neighborhoods I've been to that have gas. Everyone's electric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why we would have more gas than up there, but it is. From going to Wesley Chapel and Pinellas, and then here, it's just more common.
Yeah, Marcia makes it sound like she lives in Timbuktu or way far away, but like she's literally 35 minutes away from St. Pete. So like this is our backyard, but we cover such a big area here, y'all. That's why we bring this up, right? From Wesley Chapel to downtown Tampa, it can be anywhere from 35 to 55 minutes. From Murata, that San Antonio area to Tampa, anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour. Marcia's in Bradenton, again, 35 minutes over to St. Pete. It can take her 50 minutes to an hour to get to Tampa with traffic. You can make it from St. Pete to Sarasota in like 45 to 50 minutes. Tampa to Sarasota is roughly about an hour and 5 with traffic. And then if you're going to go to Disney or Orlando from Tampa, you should probably give yourself about 2.5 hours, depending on what time of day it is. You can make it quicker if there's no one on the road, but it's traffic can be a little bit of a bear. Yeah. And I have to, that was another thing I wanted to bring up here. Like whine and cry about our traffic, and Tampa does not even rank in the top 25 metros for drive times, y'all. And I know when I say that, people are like, you're crazy, traffic's terrible here. And it is tough, but imagine that there are more than 25 places that are way worse. I was just in Atlanta. We drove through there yet on Sunday, and it was like we were 45 or 50 miles north of Atlanta, and it looked like downtown Tampa on a Sunday. Or I'm sorry, on a Monday. I was like, we're not even close to the city yet. Where is all this traffic? And it was like that for almost 2 hours.
Wow.
And you get downtown, and it's like 6-8 lanes wide, and it's just bumper to bumper on a Sunday.
You gotta plan your timing better, Juan. You need to drive through there in the middle of the night.
Yeah, well, you gotta make these things work. But I just bring that up as perspective. You know what I mean? Like we all, it can seem very, very difficult at times, and it is, right? Like traffic is traffic. It gets congested, things happen, and I'm not trying to say that it's not, but you go places and you get perspective very fast.
Yeah.
You're like,
I lived there for 25 years, so I know that you just plan different. You know, it's like what you say here when in Florida, if you live 15 miles away, we plan for 30 minutes. That's just the norm. In Atlanta, you just don't know, you know, so you have to add on way more. And people plan it more time of day more than they do here.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when to get to where they need to go or take back roads.
Call for the chopper is what you do. I can't imagine having to be somewhere in that area. Like I would figure out some kind of levitation system. It just doesn't make sense to me.
You take back roads.
If you live there, you know the back roads, right?
Yeah.
Just like we do here. So
or you just move to Tampa from Atlanta. We got you.
That's right. We
got you covered. You ain't got to deal with that. It's not that you can take probably 4 trips around the city in the time it takes you to get through that city.
Yeah.
So even on a rough day, no, I'm kidding. Atlanta's beautiful, beautiful area. It is. It's fun to see, like, it's beautiful to see like how much that place has grown because we've been driving through there for a long time. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It's Anything else? Growth everywhere. Like you were saying, it's just all from Detroit to everywhere. It's wonderful.
It really is. Stacy, was there anything else on your list?
That's all that I got for you.
Awesome. So to recap, we talked about what? Back to school, which starts when?
August 10th is when you go back to school, but the tax sale started yesterday and goes to August 6th.
That's right. Get it in, y'all. August 6th. That is the deadline. Make sure you get those new computers, Ronnie. Make sure you get those bad boys. And then you've got the Verera opening up in Plant City with DR Horton. We talked about Strawberry Festival. That's awesome. And then what's the name of the development in Zephyr Hills?
Two Rivers.
So those are both DR Horton communities. Great opportunities out there, y'all, at some really good price points. And again, they're getting really aggressive with interest rates and cash to close. So like, it's a really good time to keep your eyes on that. So reach out to us if you got any questions there. We'd love to help you guys out through that process. Awesome. Marcia, I know you're going to take me to the beach, aren't you? Because Marcia's
Anna Maria Island, and it's very different than what we've been talking about so far. It's old Florida. We spent Saturday afternoon there this weekend, and every time we go there, we say, why don't we do this more often? It's just such a cool atmosphere. We had out-of-town guests from Atlanta, and we decided to take them out there. Our first stop was the Moose Lodge, which is the largest moose lodge in the world. They have over 14,000 members there. And it is just so cool because you go in there and it sits right on the beach. And we sat at a huge window, had a beer and sat out looking at the beach, and we were in air conditioning, and it was absolutely fabulous. So we started out with that. And then moved on to the Rod and Reel, which is another one of our favorite spots. It's a very old pier, and it has a restaurant and bar at the end of it. And the thing that we like to do is just go there and watch people fish, and there's always dolphins playing there, which is super fun to see. And there's always people from other parts of the country and world there watching. So it's fun to start talking to them, and they start asking us questions because we're locals, which is super fun. So that was a really fun thing to do. And then we headed over. There's a couple other restaurants we like there called the Waterfront Restaurant, which is fabulous food. It's not on the beach. It's in downtown Anna Maria. And then the beach house is right on the beach. And they have the fire pits, and you can sit and watch the sunset from there. So there's a lot of eating options there. But the things I love most about Anna Maria is just the feel. Like I said, it's like the old Florida feel. It's more residential than a lot of the beaches here in Florida. It's primarily houses. There's no high rises or things like that. The Anna Maria Island itself is 7 miles long, and it varies from like 3 blocks wide to a mile wide. And then there's 3 cities within it. There's Anna Maria, there's Bradenton Beach, and there's Holmes Beach. And they all have a very small resident population. Anna Maria is only 1,500, and Holmes Beach is 3,800. So there's not a lot of residents that live there, but there are tons of vacationers there. There are people every inch of the place when you go there on bikes or walking, scooters, golf carts, you name it. And you watch people walking around, making their way to the beach or restaurants, whatever they're up to for the day, which is fun. There's a free trolley in Anna Maria, which is really cool. It starts at 6 in the morning, and I read it runs till 9 at night. It goes every 20 minutes. Stops in 35 places going north and 35 places heading south. And then after 9, it runs every half hour till 10:30, and it's free. So it's a great way to get around the island. Once you park your car at your rental house, you don't have to get in the car again. You can walk or ride the trolley.
That's awesome.
Have you guys been there? I know Juan's been there because
that's my favorite place.
Yeah,
Anna Maria Island.
It's just I just love it there. But it's not cheap to live there. I was looking into the housing, and in the last 90 days, they've had 68 homes active, 8 pending, and 19 sold. And the average prices range from 1.3 million. That's the lowest. And right now, the highest is 11.5 million. So it's not inexpensive to live there.
Drop in the bucket.
Pardon?
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah. The 1.3 million was a little cottage. It was 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,258 square feet. It was built in 1947, and it's like a block off the beach, no pool or anything like that. So it's just to get yourself there. It's just the location. It's awesome there. I love it. I did find information on short-term rentals there. I don't know if you have the link for it, Juan, but you can look it up. City of Anna Maria. Just look that up, and you can find short-term rentals that you could rent. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to vacation with your family, and better yet, to have a vacation home at. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about that just to let people know how great that location is.
Yeah, it was really good. And I did see your Instagram story of you having beer 30 at the Moose.
Yeah.
which is awesome. She's taking me to that Moose Lodge, which is beautiful, right? Like when you think, I don't know, for me, when I think Moose Lodge, I think of like this old building that, that.
So do I, but
it is just like, cause we had them all over the place up north, right? VFWs and Mooses, like people hung out there all winter, right? Like, it's just fascinating to see that. But you come down here, and this place is gorgeous, y'all. They got a beautiful mural on the outside, and it's multiple stories, and there's a rooftop deck, and you're looking at the beach, man. It's like, it's a great location. Absolute, but you got to be a member to get in. So you're going to have to call Marcia.
Yep. I'll get you in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to call Marcia to make that work. But I think that's awesome. And just going back to some of the geography there, you can see where it's located. it's about, with traffic from St. Pete to Anna Maria Island, it could depends on the day, right?
Yeah.
It could be as little as 40 minutes and as much as an hour and a half with traffic, right? It like just would really depend on what's going on over there. But it come right across the bridge here, the Skyway Bridge. And then from there, you just head straight down, and then you can just pop right over. Not a terribly long drive, but it can be a little bit difficult to get into. And most of that is just because of the location. If you look at Anna Maria, like I'll zoom in on this really quick. Pull it up on the map.
Juan.
Yep, pull it up on the map. When you look at the location of Anna Maria Islands, forgive me, y'all. So here's St. Pete to the north, and then as you come south, you can see.
We can't see the map.
You can't see the map?
No, you still have the stats up.
Oh, that's interesting.
The housing market stats.
How about now?
No. Nope.
Okay. This is why Marcia does not want to do these on her own.
I don't want to be in charge.
This is why Marcia does not want to view these on her own. All right. Let me know when that map pops up, because that's all I can see it. And I can see you looking at it, but that's not the case apparently. All right. Well, kill that. All right. Noted. Let me stop the screen share, because that is not working apparently. Okay. Let's try that one more time, y'all. This map is important. We have to give context for everything, right? Okay. Let's try this again. Let me know if y'all see it.
There it is.
Woo, woo, woo. The beauty of live television. Awesome. All right. So you got St. Pete to the north, which you can see up here, hopefully. Draw some arrows real quick. St. Pete to the north. And then you got Anna Maria Island right here. You can see how far it is on the tip. That's why it takes so long to get to it, because of its location, right? Like it is so far. You come down 275, and then you got to head over on 64 to the beach. And then you pop up. And this is all like, Marcia said it's old Florida, right? It does feel that way. It's very residential. The streets are tight. There's not a whole lot of shoulders there. And there's quite a bit of traffic, but it's definitely a great little place to go hang out and enjoy, man. It's awesome. My business partner, Eric, who runs our Detroit branch of our real estate business, he comes down and spends every winter with his family there. They've been doing that for eons, and they absolutely love it. His girls love it. It's a beautiful area down there. You just really can't go wrong. It's gorgeous. So thanks for sharing that with us, Marcia. We appreciate it. Beautiful beaches, y'all. And you can check out our Bradenton video. We went to the beach, covered that. We even talked about the chocolate chip pancake breakfast you can get over there. Shout out to the pancakes. And it was like cheap too. I don't remember what the cost was, but it was like nothing. Is it all you can eat, Marcia? Remind me that.
Yeah, it's all you can eat pancakes. And that's on Holmes Beach. They have like it's more than like a snack bar, because they do offer some pretty big, significant things on the menu. But I know they have the all you can eat breakfast there. All you can eat pancakes there.
Nice. That's what's up.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
I dig it, y'all. Well, that's exciting. What else, Marcia?
I thought it'd be fun to talk about the popularity of villas in Florida. And I know villas are different in Florida than they are when you think of a villa. I know a lot of people think of Tuscany and these huge homes, and villas in Florida are not that. They're a great way for someone to have a second home here, or for people that are retiring. And I've been helping a lot of people get into villas in the area, both new construction and resale. And there's a lot of really good advantages to a villa. Most of them are in a gated community. They're kind of like a fancy duplex, because it's two homes that share a middle wall, but each home has their own garage. It's usually a one-story building. So for retired people, it's a great way to stay in a home rather than an apartment or condo. But it's not the responsibility that you'd have in a single family, because most of the communities their HOA is responsible for the outdoors, like the painting and the roofing and the landscaping. So it's a great way for people to downsize and still keep that single family feeling, even though you're connected to someone else. And a lot of them, most of them have lanais. A lot of them you can put in your own pool in the back. It's usually a smaller pool, but it's still a great way to keep that single family home feeling. And like I said, they're usually in a very active community because a lot of them are in 55 plus. Another thing that's really popular here in the new communities, the large ones especially, is they'll have single family homes, but they also have villas. And it's a great way to have your family close to you. So let's say you and your husband are moving down here, but you want your mom or your dad or parents to be close by. They can be in the same neighborhood. I'm working on a couple that are doing that right now. And I just think it's a really good way to keep families together, give older people an option to other than a condo. Yep. So only disadvantages I would say is they do share a common wall. Some people don't like that. I feel like they have really taken steps to make that common wall soundproof. So I personally haven't had people complain about it to me, but I know it's like something that people talk about when they're going from a single family. They're usually under 2,000 square feet. There are some that are bigger, but the idea is to be downsizing. So they do run smaller than most single family homes. The HOA fees are usually a little bit higher than a single family home because they're taking care of insurance and roofing and exterior of the building. So you're paying for it, but overall you would be anyway. So I just think they're a really good option for people that are retiring or downsizing, or people that aren't going to be in the area year round.
Yep. Yeah, that is it's a unique piece of real estate, right? Because same thing, I didn't understand really what a villa was. Again, I had my version of a villa from up north,
Mm-hmm.
but you come down here and, you know, because people are like, well, that's a duplex. No, not exactly, right? Like, you know, duplex is an entirely different approach to living, right? Typically, that is very economical.
Yeah.
For the most part, you know, it has a lot more to do with affordable housing. These are more affordable because of the way they're constructed, but they also, what I've noticed in a lot of these villas, especially on the newer construction developments, is the quality is great. And to Marcia's point, you don't hear your neighbor. That's not what's going on here. So I really like that. And it does give you a lot of flexibility. Again, people taking care of your lawn, community spaces taken care of, like those things are really nice. Right. And like when most of our clients that move here in their stage of life where they're looking for a villa specifically, they love that type style of living.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Condo tends to be complicated because they like to stack them on top of each other. Right. And a lot of people don't want to be on a third floor or fifth floor of a condo building. Like, you know, they have pets and it's just not attractive to them, and they don't have a yard. And a villa gives you the ability to have almost single family living.
Yeah.
You know,
including a garage too, which is great, which you don't get that very often, let's say, in a condo.
Yeah. I'll pull up a photo real quick, just as an example.
So would you have for homeowners insurance, would it be cheaper just like in a condo? You only have to insure the interior of your home?
You have to check with the community. I've found that HOAs can set things up different ways. So you can't always say, you know, all villas are set up this way. They have to check with the HOA. See, because like I said, I've had a couple different instances where they were very different.
Yep. Yeah. And again, is it likely that it'll be less of a burden than a single family home? It's likely, but not necessarily the case every single time, like Marcia said, because some of these associations have incredible amenities. And at the end of the day, you're still an owner. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that cost, it always comes back to the owners, y'all. At the end of the day, don't forget about that. It always comes back to the owner. But here's a great example. Like this is a villa in Lakewood Ranch. You know how this is set up. So this one's busted and there's 4 dwellings here. Sometimes there's 2, you know, there can be more or less, but I think this is a great share. So thank you, Marcia.
You're welcome.
I think it's awesome. And again, that style of living is not for everybody, but if you're entertaining condo and you're really focused on a first floor, a villa might be a really good way for you to go. You know, so it's again, great opportunity to grab a slice of Florida, right? So to speak, if that's your thing. But Marcia's been getting a lot of people in condos and villas lately. So she's really kind of dialed in there. The single family home stuff is, you know, it becomes more and more complicated with the interest rates where they are right now and pricing. It has been a roller coaster here, y'all. And the Federal Reserve is meeting right now, today and tomorrow. They're expecting another rate hike. Oh my word. Even though core inflation is cooling. And I know people are like, their eyes are glazing over right now, but this is important, right? If you're considering buying or selling real estate anywhere in this country right now, not even including Tampa, right, or Sarasota, it's important to take note of what's happening around you. I made a video a few weeks ago called "Are You Buying the Pause?" Right, and the Federal Reserve at last month's meeting did not raise the interest rate. They didn't raise the interest rate for the first time in 10 consecutive meetings. They didn't raise the interest rates. Thank you, Lord, because the CPI, the core inflation is cooling. Now the irony of of the data there is that almost all of the inflation that's left in the economy is now from housing and groceries. And like, why is that ironic? Well, interest rates are ridiculously high, making the cost of housing ridiculously high. So you're building in this challenge inside of the economy here. So it's definitely interesting. Ronnie has some strong words in the Fed. Well, listen, my man, that's the unique thing about money is when you really take a step back and you understand it, you realize that it's infinite, right? Like people hear that and they cringe. They're like, there's only so much. No, that's not true, right? We work off of fractional reserve banking, which means they just make new money all the time, even if they don't print it. And when they print money, it gets even crazier. All right, now I'm not going to get in the weeds with that stuff tonight, y'all, but we are going to talk a little bit about pricing. I want to talk about the macro view of what's happening in real estate. Then we're going to talk about the micro view of what's happening here in Tampa and Sarasota. But before we get to that, I want to talk about some cool stuff that is actually happening. You know, we talked about Coachman Park recently, right? I think we did that right before we left when you got that new concert venue in Clearwater. A lot of cool stuff happening down there. I'm very excited for that. Okay. Like I can't wait to take you guys to a concert. I'm going to go to a concert. I'm going to document what I can, because obviously I can't share stuff because of people's music, but I'll share what I can on the YouTube channel, because Clearwater has been exploding. Their real estate rates are through the roof right now. Let me pull it up, share this with y'all, because it has been a train that just keeps rolling in Clearwater. And it seems like it's just nonstop. And you're like, how is this sustainable? Because it's really not. Let's get into that. Okay, so here is the Clearwater housing market, which is fascinating. And as you can see here, 8.2% year over year is the median sales price right now. So 8%. You look at these numbers. Clearwater has just hit an all-time high. This is the highest that real estate values have ever been in Clearwater, which you can see at the peak last year was right here, I believe. I have to slide down a little bit. The peak of 2022 was like July, August of last year, and then it started coming back down, but it's just raging up again. So you're seeing what's going on in the marketplace there. We bump this off. Up 8.2%. So anybody who's considering, investing in Clearwater, take a look, run the numbers, because it just continues to chug along. There's a lot of development happening in Clearwater, something to take note of, right? So here again, August 22 was the peak last year, and it looks like we're right there or just above. So just forgive me if I'm off on that, but we're right there. Number of homes sold down 10% year over year there. So something to take note of on that end. But other things that are happening in the marketplace that I think are worth sharing. There's some cool stuff happening. There is a huge, so like I shared before, when I was on this trip in Atlanta, there's all these cranes that are just building all these new construction buildings, and they were condos and apartments and these mixed use spaces. And I'm sharing with you guys now, this is the rendering of the new $100 million mixed use spaces going in downtown St. Petersburg in the Edge District. And I'll show you where that is second on the map. But beautiful building here. The tower, which is going to be built in the northwest corner of First Avenue and 11th Street North, will be 21 stories high. It'll have 310 residential units. It's got 6,700 square feet of commercial space. So that's office space or, restaurants, those types of things. And then commercial space. So that'll be restaurants, maybe a gym, those types of things. And then you got 351 square feet of office space, 360 parking spaces as well. So there have been some developments that have been going on in downtown St. Petersburg that did not have parking. This is kind of one of those controversial things. Where do you, I can't imagine buying into an area or renting an apartment and not having a parking spot. Now, for those of you who are watching from New York or any large city that this is normal to you, help us understand how that works, because I cannot imagine having to walk around, because Florida is not the most transportation friendly. St. Pete does, you do have the Sunrunner there. You've got the trolley. There is the bus downtown, but it's not like it's running every 6 seconds. So like, I'm definitely intrigued as to how that type of living is going, but this unit here will have parking built into it. As you can see the bottom of the structure there. So I think that's really awesome. These developments, they bought this development here for 20 million, and they're about to put another 100 million into it. And these numbers we throw around pretty flippantly here, but take note of the fact that people are investing in Tampa. They're investing in Tampa and Sarasota. These areas are blowing up, right? When it's a lot of negativity about the economy, what's going on, the area is still cranking down. So I think it's a great thing to take note of. Another thing I wanted to take note of here is the tech talent and the tech jobs. We've talked before on the channel. I've mentioned it, many times, that Tampa is the unofficial tech hub of Florida. But it's something that they've been focused on. It's been intentional. They've been trying to attract talent. They've been trying to work through the colleges to bring these programs into the state to help not only tech employees, but tech entrepreneurs come to Tampa. So it's something to take note of. But I was reading this article here, and it was talking about in March, the demand for technology qualifications in the Tampa Bay area was heavily skewed to information and cybersecurity certifications. And I bring that up because we get asked all the time in the comments of the YouTube channel and in direct messages, hey, what are the hot jobs going on in the area right now? So I'm bringing this to you guys locally here as well. If you're local and you're really, you're trying to figure out which direction you're going to go in your field of study, or you're about to wrap up on one of these career paths here, like these jobs are highly in demand, right? So, information and cybersecurity. I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was important. And then here's the other thing that I thought was great as well. They shared the average starting salary, the average annual salary for these jobs. And as the tech talent has grown in the last 5 years, tech wages in Tampa Bay are up. The average annual salary is $73,962, which ranks the highest in Florida, FYI. So I think that that's super important to take note of, right? We have some of the highest salaries in the entire state regarding tech here in Tampa Bay. So don't sleep on Tampa, y'all. I know everybody's thinking it's Miami, right? It's Tampa. Come check it out. The city's booming. It's alive. The entire greater Tampa Bay area is on fire, and it's continuing to grow. And we are at a deficit on these jobs. There's still jobs in the works. We've discussed this before. Our unemployment's super low. Last time I checked, it was 2.4%, which is a full percentage point below the national average. So we're still cranking down on that. I would definitely wanted to bring that up. Okay, cool. Ladies, if you'll indulge me, and audience, if you'll indulge me, we're going to nerd out on numbers just a touch. All right. So I'm allowing you right now, for those of you that are watching, I'm allowing you to maybe go get a beer, if you're walking on the couch, or some popcorn, and we're going to chop it up on these numbers, because the thing I love about our industry is that everything is public, right? From the numbers things sell at, to the commissions we get paid, to the trend or what people paid for properties. It's all there, right? You can see everything. And for those of you that don't know, you can go to your county records. It's public information, and you can look at all this stuff. But doing that would be very, very slow when you got an excellent resource like yours truly, who loves to nerd out about these kind of things and bring the information back to you. So I share that with you because I nerd out on this stuff too. There's a gentleman that I watch weekly. His name is Jason Walter. He really covers a lot of national stuff, and he reads the news at the end of the day. Jason's really sharp though, so I want to make sure that I give credit where it is due. He's a fellow numbers nerd. He loves looking at these things, and I love the way that he presents his data. He's really helped me, keep things in perspective too. But I want to share some of this stuff with y'all. All right, now bear with me. I'm going to show you a spreadsheet. Don't freak out. I'm going to make it super simple. All right. So, but I want to share. So we got some comments. I want to make sure I get to those too. Ronnie says, I heard that Coachman Park is having trouble with parking. Ronnie, I drove by there last week before we left, and that was the first thing I thought of. I do know that they're working on some other parking down there, but that's the first thing I thought as well. But there is parking within walking distance of Coachman Park. It's just going to be part of the process that they're going to bring, 8,000 people down for a concert. I believe that. Let's see what we got here. Daniel says, hi, Juan and ladies. I'm interested in buying a home for the long-term investment. Would you recommend me a good home, good areas for the budget of $300,000 to $350,000? Daniel, we'd love to do that. Thank you for being a viewer here on the channel. My contact information is below in the description. Jump into my calendar and schedule a time. I would love to meet with you. We will talk about what areas make sense for you and your investment. The numbers one thing, but more importantly, we need to know what your goals are with your investment so we can help you through that. Okay, so let's connect. All that contact information is down below. I appreciate that. Dr. Chris Riza, please forgive me if I butchered that, says, what about jobs in psychology? I don't know, and I'm not going to look live, but I will track them down for you. And if I can find what you're looking for specifically, I'll put that in the description. So bear with me, Chris. If not, I'll try to bring that back up next week. I will go on the hunt. It's just not my area of expertise, but let's see if we can track that down, ladies. All right. We all have a mission now. Dr. Chris has asked us to go track down psychology jobs.
I would have to believe there's plenty of them here.
Is this for private practice, or are you going to work at a exactly? Because
yeah, in all types, just because there's a lot of medical field jobs in the area, and there's a lot of mental health, and it's I think becoming more and more paid attention to in the state of Florida. And I think, so I would feel comfortable saying that would not be an issue. But like Juan said, I don't know what type of job you're looking for, but I'm sure there's lots of types of psychology jobs in the area.
And another thing too is, pay is relative to where you live. I know the one thing that we've heard from clients who relocate in different industries is that Florida doesn't pay as well. I don't know, right? Because we don't do those things. So that's something you're going to want to keep in mind, right? Our healthcare cost is lower in the state of Florida, which tells me one thing: they don't pay as well, right? Right? That's not complicated because, listen, y'all, we all know healthcare is expensive. So if people are making less money, that's probably why. But again, the cost of living here versus where you're at, those are the things you have to factor in. I know I say these things and sometimes people look at it, but you got to do the whole spreadsheet, right? So to speak. And I know most of you may not break out spreadsheets, but like just run the pros and cons, right? If you make a really good wage and you're going to come here and not have any personal income tax, what does that go to the plus column? Right? What does it go to the plus column if your real estate taxes are half of what you're paying now? Like these are the things you have to put into perspective, but it doesn't always work that way. Right? So we're always trying to be mindful of how people are walking in and with their perspective, because I think it's important to note. Chris said one last thing on this, Chris. So I want to make sure you get it. Jobs in mental health like a hospital. Yeah, we'll dig into that, Chris. Again, that's not our area of expertise, but I'll ask around. Got a friend of mine, his wife is a doctor at Tampa General. So good resource to ask. All right. So we'll get into that for sure. All right. Now, last but not least, we're coming in the 8 o'clock hour. So I don't want to go too long on this. But I also don't want to gatekeep. So thank you if you've watched with us this long. If you have any questions about the Sarasota or Tampa Bay areas, do not hesitate to reach out to me and my team. We're going to get into these numbers right now, y'all, but I just want to be mindful of your time and thank you for your eyes Thank you for your attention. And most importantly, thank you for being a wonderful viewer. And for those of you who have trusted us to help you buy and sell here in the Tampa Bay area, we greatly appreciate it. Now, with that being said, we're going to nerd out a little bit. So give me, I'm going to do this in 15 minutes or less. I'm going to try to do it in 10. So start the timer now, please.
Can we take a bet on that?
I'm going to go quick. Now I'm doing it in 3 minutes. All right.
We're grateful for it, Juan.
Yeah. Well, really, I just want to talk about, what's been happening here. So bear with me. I know, again, people see spreadsheets and their eyes start to glaze over. I completely understand. And I am not going to be mad at you if you don't hang out with us. So keep that in mind. Let me blow this up a little bit so my old eyes can see with you. Is that better, y'all?
Yeah, that's better.
All right. That's good. Okay, so let's get into this really quick. I'm going to move quickly here. The thing I want you to know is this top row across the top here. This is the most recent data that came out from Realtor.com. All right, they provide really good really timely data. A lot of the times our real estate data is shared a month later. Right. Our local boards share that information with us a month later. But for y'all, I want you to take note here. OK, so what you're looking at is last week's information. And they do this every single week, as you can see on this left column here. All right. But July 15th was the last data. We'll get data this week as well. But what I want you to take note of is the median list price. OK, since the week of June 10th. The median list price has been declining in the United States, which is interesting to take note of. Okay. And it's not much, right? 0.9%, 0.9%, 0.9%, 0.3, 0.2. That's not a lot of relief. But what it also is saying that sellers are starting to just be more pragmatic with their approach to their asking price. Okay. And I'm going to show you some more information that comes up here a little bit later. So they're starting to take note. The sellers who saw their cousin or their friend sell 2 years ago for $100,000 over asking, they're starting to be more realistic with their asking price, right? They're not attaching their asking price to something that happened a year ago. It's been taking a while, because if you look at this data, these are all positive numbers, meaning that they were increasing the asking price over here. And then, and we're in this left column, the orange one here. I'm sorry, the red one on the left-hand side there. But now, since June 10th, that week, they started decreasing their listing price. So that's something to take note of. Does that mean that prices are down? Nope. Does it mean that sellers are starting to ask less? The answer is yes. Okay, so it's something to take note of. All right, now here's where the challenges come in. The active listings. The active listing count, meaning the actual properties that are for sale in the United States, are down 6.4% year over year from last year. And we already know that last year and the year before, sales were down in general because of the pandemic. Okay, so we're still seeing lower and lower sales numbers. Okay, again, that's not price, that's not value, that's the amount of homes being sold. All right, now that's something to take note of. Now, this one here is something to take real note of. New listing count year over year. Okay, so we had active listings. That means that the homes that are actually for sale right now as of last week. This is the new listings, meaning versus last year at the same time. And I brought this up because this is something that is staggering here, and I want to make note of this. It says the number of new listings has declined by double digits for 48 of the last 51 weeks in the United States. Y'all. All right, here's the data. Don't take my word for it. Go download this at realtor.com/research/data, and you can look at this with your own eyes. They track this information. This column here, right, down 18.7%, down 27% last week, 21% the week before. These numbers are staggering. Now, here's another thing to look at. The median days on market, meaning how long the average home sits on the market before it receives a contract once it's listed active for sale. Okay. The median time to contract last week was 10 days. Y'all, that is cranking down. Right, cranking down. And you can see it's trending down as well. 12, 13, 13, 13 is pretty stable, and then it went down. Okay, now here's the other thing I want you to take note of. Price reductions All right. Y'all remember when price reductions, it was when the interest rates started climbing up really dramatically about 15 months ago. People were losing their minds. There was price reductions everywhere. It was like, it just seemed like everybody had to reduce their prices. Well, this negative number is actually a negative number, meaning that it's not positive. Okay. And I'm going to explain that to you in a second. So when you look at this, price decreases were up for 60 straight weeks. And they have now fallen for the last 7 consecutive weeks. Okay, so let me walk you through that again. For 60 straight weeks, sellers were forced to reduce their prices. For the last 7 weeks, it has been going the other direction. Right? They are no longer reducing those prices. That's starting to go the other direction, and you can see it here, right? At some points last year, look at this data point right here. February 4th of 2023, there were 170, right? Price decreases were up 170% versus the previous year. So that's something to take note of. Price decreases are going the other way. All right. Now here's the last data point I wanted to get to, and we'll get you guys on your way here. The Federal Reserve, the last week, interest rates for the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, a conventional 30-year fixed rate mortgage, ended last week at 6.89%. The previous week at 7.14%. The previous week at 7.02%. The Federal Reserve, as we discussed, is meeting today and tomorrow. They are expecting, the market is expecting that the Federal Reserve is going to raise the interest rate, the prime rate, at least 0.25% again, which is going to make money more expensive to borrow, y'all. This is what you need to know, right? Now, this is where things get really, really challenging. Okay, so let's look up today really quick. I want to show you how today ended on the mortgage rates. So it looks like we finished today. I'm just going to hit refresh on this at 7.04% on the 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Let me pull up some stats here. Yep, 7.04%. The 15 is a 6.4. If you're going to go FHA, it looks like it's around a 6.64%, and an ARM's at 6.96% as well. So this is something to take note of. And I know, forgive me, I pulled up a spreadsheet on y'all, and some of your eyes just glazed over. I get it. I tried to keep this as succinct as possible. The thing I want you to know is this: there is less houses available for sale or to purchase right now. So if you're considering selling, it is still an excellent time to do that. Okay. If you do not have a mortgage, all right, maybe you're downsizing, maybe it's time to move into a villa or a condo, like Marcia was talking about earlier, and you're selling out of your single family home. The median home in the United States is going for 101% of ask, and they are usually getting at least 3 offers. We see this, almost all of our properties that we've wrote offers on in the last month, ladies, have been in multiple offers. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah. It's still time to move those properties. Now, they're not seeing 25 to 50 offers, which is great. That's the big difference, but interest rates could still continue to go up. So I want you to take note of that. Now, that's important to note because, again, if people, and the reason that's happening is because people are locked into these very low interest rates, right? So if someone has a 3% interest rate or 2.75 or 4% interest rate, it's very hard to wrap your mind around the idea of selling that property and going out and buying another home at a 7% interest rate. Because if you're doing it on a mortgage, usually you're getting less house for the same amount of monthly money. So I just want you to be mindful of that, right? But a great way to beat this is to do something like a new construction. Okay. Again, they're offering flex cash to buy down your interest rate. We can talk about that later. Feel free to reach out and ask the question. They're also offering aggressive interest rates. So that's something to take note of. Okay. And again, I don't want to beat everybody up, so I'm gonna kill it with that because I think that's probably plenty in terms of information there. But ladies, I did it in 9 minutes. Shout out.
Very impressed. Good job.
Yep. But just again, y'all, take note. There's fewer homes for sale. People still have to move and want to move and get to move. Okay, so competition's higher, interest rates are higher, so payments are higher. This is something to take note of. If interest rates do start to decline, at the back half of the year, buckle up, because remember when it was competitive before? It's going to be worse then.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be worse because there are still people who do not want to move or can't move off of those low interest rates. So just be mindful of that. All right, ladies, it was a wonderful evening. Audience, thank you so much for joining us. Again, leave a comment down below. Let us know where you're watching from. I try to always follow up on all those comments. If you have questions, put those down there below as well. All of our contact information is down below. You can follow Stacy at Stacy.Amon.Realtor. You can follow her. You can follow Marcia on her Instagram and socials as well. We have to remember to put that up next time, Marcia. You can follow me over at Juan.Alcala.Realtor. And as always, ladies, what do we say?
Go out and live that Tampa life.
Sorry.
That's all right. We didn't practice. It's okay.
I didn't want to steal it.
That's good. No, it's all good. We appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being a great audience. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We'll see you on the flip side.